Okay, so this isn't a video I planned on making, but it was just something so bizarre that happened to me the other day I thought I'd share it. I've never seen anything like this. Now I was in my shed having a tidy up and I got the vacuum cleaner out. I've got a desk in here with a few odds and ends on it, one of them being a Sega Dreamcast Controller. Bit of fluff and dust on the desk, so I start hoovering up and there was an explosion of ants. Now, a few ants in the shed, not a big deal, and it's kinda to be expected, but these ants were very, very keen on the Dreamcast controller, so I took it off the desk and I popped it on the floor, and ants were just pouring out this thing. I don't like going after bugs, but I really didn't want ants getting into my other electronics, so I had to use a vacuum cleaner just to try and contain them. After a good 30 minutes or so of vacuuming, the ant explosion had gone from chaos to manageable, but I had to open this thing up and just see what was going on, and I'll let the video speak for itself. I legit could not believe it. There was an entire colony of ants living in this Dreamcast controller, entirely contained within. I've never seen anything like it. I got this controller about 5 years ago from a bundle in Japan and I hadn't used it. I can only think something sugary might have been in it to attract the ants. It's sort of fascinating and disturbing seeing this. Hundreds if not thousands of ants and larvae taking up every single possible space. There were a few winged ones too. Now I honestly don't have anything against bugs. I'm not too keen on mosquitoes or some of the venomous spiders here in Australia, and it may look disgusting to some, but I was more amazed to see this, and I thought it would be good to see if we can reclaim the Dreamcast controller, and maybe perhaps take what's left of the colony and move it somewhere else. I put the controller in a big tub and moved it outside. My idea would be to try and tempt the ants to move away from the controller to a better spot. I was keen to see what condition the controller would be in after this too. To my surprise, my plan worked and I did see a few of the winged ants emerge too. The ants were cleaning up after themselves, moving the eggs from the controller to some leaves I'd placed down. It was pretty fascinating to watch, and after a few hours I could start taking bits of the controller out for cleaning. Eventually, with a bit of encouragement, I had most of my controller back. The circuit board was still pretty busy, the memory card slots had become egg storage, and I had to take it out of the tub. But on their own, the ants moved most of their nest away. I was able to clean up the controller shell and buttons of leftover eggs and nest debris. Come the next morning and the circuit board was nearly spotless. The ants had worked through the night and cleaned it all up. The board looks pretty much untouched. I was expecting damage to the PCB from various ant juices, but on the surface it looks okay. I'll give it a proper clean with some isopropyl and put it all back together. A quick test with the old Dreamcast and the controller works. Absolutely fine. In fairness, it came up perfect after a good clean and nothing stood out as wrong. It's just baffling to think what this thing looked like only hours ago. You think there'd be some damage. Let this be a warning though about sugary spills and tempting treats that might have worked their way into your controller. And there you go. I know this is a really weird video to make, but it was just one of those strange things that you couldn't make up. An entire functioning ant colony living inside a Sega Dreamcast controller. From what I could tell, they hadn't gone in anything else in my shed, just this controller. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this, but I don't blame you if you didn't. As always, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.